Ethics 1949. These codes take as their guiding principle, which I have already said, the concept of service to humankind and respect to human life and to do no harm or malice. While these codes are useful in promoting ethical treatment, the codes fail to provide answers to the more difficult decisions involving use of sophisticated medical technologies. I think this has got to be looked into also. It will be our duty, therefore, to follow ethical practice. The medical professional has to accept the sole responsibility for this. There should be a constant reappraisal centering on improved patient care. One should work towards quality care. When I graduated in 1949, the composite Madras presidency, at the time consisting of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Karnataka in 1956, they were unfortunately splintered later. Madras presidency had only 4 medical colleges: Madras Medical College, Stanley Medical College, CMC Vellore and the King George Medical Hospital in Visakhapatnam. Today, the total number of medical seats available at the time was 435. Today, in Tamil Nadu alone, there are 20 medical colleges, 17 government and 17 in the NGO sector. The number of graduate seats are 2,144, 5 times the number of what it was in 1950. In Tamil Nadu, the total applications for medical course this year, that is what I gathered from the paper as stated by our Honorable Health Minister, was 28,275 as against a total of 2,144 medical seats between government and medical college, private colleges. This acute shortage of seats has led to a number of self-financing institutions where seats cost a fortune and financial capacity than merit decides the issue. No amount of legislation can work. Self-financing educational institutions, free from political corruption, are sine qua non for all-round growth of education in this country. But they should conform to altruistic standards and not degenerate into instruments of exploitation, transforming learning, as a past governor of Tamil Nadu mentioned, into an industry. In 1949, postgraduate degrees were only MS General Surgery, MD General Medicine, and MD Obstetrics and Gynecology. There were no arrangements of allocation of seats, etc. Today, the number of seats for the same degrees in Tamil Nadu is, I believe, 464. There were no super specialty courses in 1949. I am not aware of the number of specialties available today. I am informed that there are super specialty seats that are unfilled. This discrepancy between need and supply warrants a relook into the professional educational policy. The doctor population ratio in India is 1:1,722, inclusive of urban and rural. We have no idea of the rural doctor ratio separately. India is rated 67th among the developing countries in doctor population ratio. To expect 1 million physicians to take care of 1 billion or more population spread over a vast country like India is truly fantastic. Our dream of a universal health care probably is a utopian dream. Due to paucity of time, I will not go into the very difficult terrain of medical research. Medicine over the years, our hoary medical tradition is as great as our philosophical works. Sushruta and Charaka are immortal names in our medical history. In course of time and history, other cultures added their knowledge to ours. These alternate systems of medicine, as they are now termed, are still practiced and supported by government. Organized allopathic medical education was initiated in India with the establishment of the medical school in Madras in 1837. This was upgraded to a medical college in 1858 with the founding of the Madras University 1857. The use of traditional medicine, Ayurveda, homeopathy, Siddha, Unani, etc. are being promoted and financially being supported by government. The application of these alternative medicines needs scientific appraisal. They have never undergone the rigorous evaluations and scientific checks used in allopathy. It should be mandatory for alternative medicine to be evaluated in controlled clinical trials, especially when they are being used in major chronic illnesses like cancer and many other diseases, which can be fatal if not treated properly at the initial stage. Just as the Drug Controller of India or the FDI in the US have to certify drugs for medical use, the same should be applicable for these therapies also. So far, these have never questioned, whereas even drugs that have passed scientific trials are being withdrawn if proved to be detrimental. I think I have taken a long time. I would like to conclude. In conclusion, I wish to place on record my deepest tribute and homage to late Dr. Krishnamurthy, my mentor, but for whom I will not be what I am today, and I will not be here having this honorable position. Also to my teachers in my medical college student days, many of whom have contributed in no small measure in molding my thought, word, and deed. I think that I wish all the graduates a very successful career, and thank you for the opportunity.
Let the candidates be now presented.